All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Breaking and Entering the Podcast.
Yes, and welcome to 2021.
Welcome to 2021.
2021.
How's 2021 starting off for you guys?
Okay, I guess it's that question directed to me.
Yeah, we all look directly at you.
Yeah, Blair, tell us.
It's going pretty well so far. Well, it's actually not entirely true. So at the last episode, you know what I'm going to say, Peggy?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Last episode, I kind of like went into like my mom just got out of the hospital, and then my grandmother just got diagnosed with COVID, and then a couple of weeks ago, like January 5th, she actually died from COVID, among other things. So that's been a little bit rough, especially like I actually was able to have the week off and like spend with the family and actually do the funeral and stuff like that. So it was cool having the family all together and us just being able to spend time together. We went to this like Italian place and food was pretty good. I had eggplant parmesan. I don't know if I'll do the eggplant again, but I like parmesan. But it was an opportunity for us to kind of spend time together. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't necessarily like funerals for the aspect of like saying goodbye as much as it is for me like celebrating the life of the person that we were able to spend time with and able to share love and emotion. And it gave me the opportunity to really like go back and think about what my grandmother meant to me and all of the just different memories I had of her and her spunkiness and sweetness and everything like that. So that was the beginning of 2021. But on another note, I feel like I'm a little bit more on point with the goals that I've been trying to set for myself. So like I've been writing a book for like a year now, right? On and off, probably over a year now. And I finally like set my habits back up to where I'm like actually writing every night and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel good about that. I'm also like reading every night. I'm doing like I literally like made a checklist of things I wanted to do every day, even just a little bit, maybe 30 minutes, maybe more or less, depending on how the spirit moves me. And I've been doing a decent job keeping up with that. So that makes me feel like 2021 is going to be good. Yeah.
That's good. My turn. Okay.
Just going down the line.
Hello, podcast world.
Wait, yeah, I know, yeah.
Fan base.
I was expecting a simple answer. Like, yeah, 2021 is going to be, and then it was like, oh, okay, I thought it was going to be a field study episode, but then it might turn into a confirmation bias real quick.
Yeah.
We have different types of episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll explain that a little bit. But yes, explain who you are.
We should introduce her, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a hyper.
I'm nobody. I'm not even here.
First of all, that is never going to be
She's
true.
definitely
That's
here.
never going to be true.
We see you.
Exactly. This is Neisha, one of the greatest filmmakers that the world has not discovered yet.
Thank you.
Yes. But
nice.
they will discover soon. Very soon.
Thank
2021 soon. So, yeah. No, don't. 2021.
Yes, 2021.
2021. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Look out, world.
Yes, exactly. So, how many times have you two met?
We've only met one time.
Well, okay. Yeah. This is the second. Yeah.
This is our second time meeting each other.
Exactly.
No, I've seen Blair a handful of times, and it's always a pleasure to be around him. He sometimes makes me feel small because he's so intellectual.
I'm just
very, very kind, tender, kind-hearted person. I love his energy, so he's always a pleasure to be around.
Feelings mutual.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. But still, who are you, Nisha?
Oh, I'm
Who's
Neisha. I am a
Nisha?
lot of things. I am
the jack of all trades.
I'm the jack of all trades. Sorry, I gotta talk about my background. So I'm a wife. I am a mother. I am a professional storyteller. I don't know which camera I'm
Just
looking
it's
at.
the
Okay.
yes.
I'm a professional storyteller. I write, I shoot, I edit, I direct, I produce,
It's a lot of stuff.
I do a lot of things.
Wait, so that's interesting. So you write now, huh?
I write copy.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't call myself a scriptwriter like you. You are like you're the king.
Come
of,
on, I'm trying to get
writing.
you
One step at a time. We'll get it.
No,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
Come on. I got you, Neisha. You got it.
Identifying as a writer, I feel like is
That's the first. That's stepping to get
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I don't usually say that, but I'm saying it now.
Yes, because you
It's a
are
thing.
you are a writer.
2021.
Thank you.
Right.
Exactly, filmmaker, writer.
Mhm.
Okay, and how was 2021 starting? For you?
2021. So this New Year's was like kind of a dud. I usually try to do something fun. January 1st, like go out with a bang. But I literally I got sleepy at 8:00. We had found somebody who was selling fireworks on a corner,
Nice.
and I went and bought my daughter a sparkler to just so we can have something. But it was like kind of a dud, like on the first day. But that's usually like to me kind of a sign of how the rest of the year is going to go. But I will say that was not any implication of how the year is going. So far, things are going kind of smooth and steady. I would say this year is going steady. I've learned a lot about myself, done a lot of like inward, introspective work on myself. And so I would describe the year so far as steady. Good feelings, not so good feelings. Like it's steady.
Okay, very cool. And you have a podcast, right? Or it's not?
Yeah.
What is it?
I started a podcast because I wanted to be like you guys.
No. But she has so much that she has to share with the world.
Yes, super excited about my podcast, Finding Your Niche with Niche. So stay tuned, look out for that. I'm really interested in speaking with people about, speaking with people rather, who are in unique industries, and figuring out how they tell their story, because it's founded by my company, my production company, Freed Minds, and our staple is that life's breakthroughs are one thought away. And so with that, I want to talk to people about what was that one thought that changed the trajectory of their life, that caused them to have a breakthrough to pursue their specific niches. And so my name is Neisha, so I just thought it was cool.
So does everyone see why they're going to know her name in 2021? Because
Finding Your Niche or Niche.
Exactly.
So if you guys know anybody who does something cool, please DM Enoch.
I might know a candle maker.
Yes, I only know one candle maker, so apparently that's
her candles might smell
is a
amazing.
specific niche.
They might be. How was 2021? 2021 has been interesting. I feel like 2021 has been like a grounding for me. Like a lot of things that I think that like I used to do. I'm back at doing them again. Like so. Like I don't think like one big example is like my big brother Sherman. Like we haven't spent this much time together since probably like 2014, 2015. Wow. So it's like it's been a lot. It's been like dang.
Anybody
like,
responsible for that you can think of?
I mean, you help Neisha. You definitely Neisha. Yeah.
Can I just say I'm loving
always trying
Sherman
to
being
get
around. It's amazing.
I know.
I haven't
I
had this
love
much
Sherman
Sherman in
around.
years.
Yeah.
It's
I love
great.
Sherman around. Shout out to Sherman.
Yeah, shout out to Sherman, big brother.
He will be on a
best
podcast
friend.
coming soon.
It's coming soon. So that's been really like cool. Like I didn't realize
cool.
You don't realize how much you miss somebody until like dang, like we actually spend the time. And it's like man, maybe I like how much time went past that. You know, I wasn't spending as much time with this person. Like so it's like okay. It's like don't make up for lost times, but like appreciate the times that you're having and make sure that you never go back to those lost times before. So that's been like really dope. So I really say that's like the biggest part of just my 2020s has been like kind of I'm going back and I'm finding the Enoch who I was before and like taking the good things that I had before and bringing them here and then trying to like leave the bad things behind. So you know, because there's different
that makes me think too, because something that I'm realizing this year too is that I have so much work to do, like self work. And so trying to find a balance between like that realization paired with also knowing that you're dope.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to find that it's weird. Because like I know I'm dope, but then there's other days where I'm like, oh my God, like I need so much work. God.
So
like how do you grapple with like how do you navigate through life?
it's funny that you say
With
that. I've been like reading this book as preparation for the book that I'm writing. It's called Dialectical Behavior Therapy. And it's basically the balance of these two ideas, which is radical acceptance of yourself wherever you are, whether you're in a great spot or not so great spot, and then the propensity for change as well. So it's kind of interesting.
You have to send me that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm very interested. Because I need some help with that.
It's okay. You looked at me like I had to answer it first, and I was about to say, I hope somebody else is sitting on this side because don't have any clue.
I'm glad. It's good to know I'm not alone. Though.
No, I have no clue. I am literally like, I feel like a juggler, and I feel like I have a ball in this hand and a ball in this hand. And like I see 6 other balls up here, and I'm like, but I got a ball in this hand, a ball in this hand. I'm not growing any more arms, but they're coming down. How am I gonna make this happen?
I'm kind of let down right now. I was expecting like knives or like flames.
You don't understand. The balls, spikes come out of them with flames and every single thing.
Now the spikes.
So yes, I'm juggling, and all the different things are coming down, and I still have 2 like. I'm holding 2 balls in my hand, and like I haven't like thrown them up, and I'm trying to figure out the patterns. So that's why I feel like it's happening for me in 2021. And but at the same time, as the 6 different balls are coming down, I have 2 in my hands. I have full confidence that like I'm gonna figure out how to like keep the circulation going without like it's like stressful because you haven't figured it out yet, but it's like I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
so it's very interesting.
You're pretty dexterous.
Yeah, you're
yes. So all right, that was. You know how when you're talking to somebody and you say, "Hey, how are you doing?" and you expected them to say like,
"Good,
I'm good, I'm okay," but they're like, "Well, hey, let me tell you about yesterday, man. Let me tell you about." You're like, "Let me tell you about my relationship."
I'm gonna sit down.
It's like so I feel like we went into that route, which is good.
Yeah.
But I mean, we kind of actually talked about a few things with the topic.
Yeah.
But before we actually get to the topic, we have to remind our audience that, we're back for season 2. And so we need you to like, subscribe, rate, share, comment. Tell us what you think about the podcast. Make this a conversation. Let's all break and enter into each other's minds and try to like find the best version of ourselves. And Peggy, don't roll your eyes as hard at me.
That was deep.
She rolled her eyes so hard at me. I feel like the audience saw it. So yes. So what's the topic of our conversation today?
In general, it's about creativity, and I think specifically it's about finding your muse in order to actually like bring creativity into the world, bring your own creativity, manifest it.
So this is definitely a field of study, right?
I would say so. Okay,
could have been a confirmation bias. So we have 3 types of episodes. We have B episodes where you really get to know like me and Blair. We're pretty personal about it. Then we have field of study episodes in which like, it's things that, we personally are in that field and we're like trying to study in personal growth, like really trying to dive down into it. And then there's confirmation bias episodes where it's like the controversial episodes.
Okay.
So like we're talking about something that's not, as, easy, so we
talk about,
Exactly. So field of studies, this is more so like say creativity. We brought a creator on, for this. So cool. Muse. What do you think about when you hear the word muse?
Well, honestly, I just learned what the word means. But now that I know what it means, when I think about it, I think about a lot of things. Because my inspiration is drawn from a lot of different places. From people, from things that I read, like what you talked about, from life experiences in themselves, good and bad. And so when I think about what stimulates, for the context of what we're talking about, what stimulates my creativity, I think about those things.
Okay.
And I think it's less important to know exactly what the word means and more that you have actually been doing it for a while now. So it's more important to actually like be than to have the information of knowing what something is. So you're there.
Because that's an interesting point that you're putting there, because like I feel like we all are inspired. I feel like that on a daily basis we're all inspired. But then like the thing about being a creator versus just being ... is that like the creator takes the muse and they actually create something with that. So like what's that step in you that makes you see an experience as like, I'm going to take this experience and put something into the world that has never been here before? I know, we got deep real quick. It doesn't have to be for you. I mean, you're a creator as well. I'm a creator, so like, it's a more I think, one of the ways that I also create, I forgot to mention, I'm an international spoken word artist.
And so poetry,
international. So meaning that not just in America, but in multiple nations around the globe.
sure.
So,
But with that, it's kind of like what you're saying is like having a situation and then making it real, especially words. Words are universal. So just the concept of being able to put that in that capacity, because there's different creative mediums of what you can do. But specifically for me, when I'm sitting down to write a poem, I'm thinking about how I felt in the moment and being able to like kind of articulate that on paper. Mm-hmm. And so that's usually my process for that.
What gives you courage? Like I said, that's like feelings is one thing, but then it's like, and then the thing is you can go sit down and write a poem. But like I have personally shot one of your poems. Like, so there's a difference between I have a poem and I have a notebook and I just have, I'm on some poetic justice vibes where I just write something really dope and I show my friends. But then there's another thing. It was like I put it out for the world to see. My vulnerability is just like, this is me naked in my creativity.
Yeah, we talked about a little bit off camera. I think the answer to that question is I just like being on camera. Like there's not really a fancy
thing. Like Peggy.
I'm an extrovert. Right. I don't mind being on cam. Like it's part of my personality. And so I'm just comfortable. So being on camera or performing it doesn't take as much work as actually saying the words out loud. Now that takes courage. But the aspect of like being on camera, shooting and all that, that's fine. But thinking like, oh God, people are going to hear what I'm saying. People are going to hear about how I feel. That takes a little bit of courage, but I think what helps me be able to muster through it is knowing that somebody can be impacted. If I make the poem bigger than me, bigger than myself, then it's very easy for me to make it so that the world can hear it because somebody else can be changed as a result of it.
Yeah. And what do you feel as you're actually like speaking these words? How does that?
I feel like when I'm performing a poem, don't ask me to perform a poem.
And I say,
you weren't prepared for this?
When I perform a poem, I feel like I turn into, it's like an alter ego of mine. Like I actually turn into somebody else. I don't even really look at the crowd. I kind of like see through people. So like I'm very engaging when I'm performing, but it's almost like I'm not even myself because something else just like takes over me. Yeah. And then I'm just like in my zone and that's it.
Okay, next Neisha Poetry Night. I need to be there. Like I've never seen you perform.
We need to have an open mic night because I've seen you on the guitar.
Oh.
So
oh boy.
Open mic night at Mountaintop.
Mountaintop. Ooh,
it's a thing. It's happening.
Okay, there's a lot of ideas have happened, and they just started looking at me like, okay, open mic night.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Yes, okay. This is a vibe. That's a whole vibe.
It is. That's actually a good one. Open mic now, yeah. That might be. That might be our go away party.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Right?
That's dope.
Like that. Okay, cool.
What?
You better sing, girl. In that 24 inches. Sing with all of it.
Okay, ponytail.
Peggy behind the camera is just, oh my goodness. We love you, Peggy.
She turned 27.
And you can't tell her. And it's just thing changed. So what about you, Blair? So like for the things that, you've created and stuff like that, like, or want to create, like I said, or do you struggle with this? Like what's...
Oh, I do struggle with it. It's actually like, it's funny. I was talking with one of my attendings about this, like just the last couple of days. He was saying that, so he really enjoyed like art in the form of like painting and stuff like that. And I was like, do you still do that? And he was like, it's been a while. And I was like, well, are you like passionate about it? It's something you like really enjoy doing? He's like, yeah, it's really cool. But then we kind of like talked a little bit more about it. It's like, I've never actually finished a painting. And he was like, and I don't know if that's because of like something within me that is like, I'm afraid of what the final product will look like and if it won't be like as good as I want it to be. And I felt that personally because that is like exactly how I am with things. Like,
go ahead.
No.
Oh, you're just reminding me because that's actually one of the insights that I had learned about myself this year is that I have drive and no discipline. And so like consistency is like, I don't know, but I've learned that I have all the drive in the world. Like I can go to do something like all day.
Mm-hmm.
But then like continuing to do that thing for some reason is like there's a mental block there where I just cannot. I have very poor follow through.
Yes. No,
I'm like working on that too.
I know exactly what you mean. And I was like, well, you finished med school, you finished residency, and he was like, yes, but those kinds of things have external motivation. When it's just like painting and for the art of it, it's all internal motivation. And that's like the biggest difference. When you are musing, it requires internal motivation to not only start it, actually starting it doesn't really require that much, but it's continuously going through it until you actually like have this thing that you can share with other people. My inspiration currently is my own pain that I had felt. And when I say that, I mean like the book that I'm writing currently is a nonfiction book. It's about like me going through the traumas that I've kind of already talked about a little bit on the podcast with chronic pain and trying to overcome that, and how like that pain actually like caused emotional pain as well that I had to work through. And it's kind of talking about what I've learned along that journey and how I have dealt with all of that, and how other people that have been in that situation or are in that situation can hopefully like use some of what I've learned along the way that has benefited me. And yeah, I think pain is a very powerful muse. So, yeah.
That's good.
If I had any advice to tell your attendee, I would look at him and say, as our camera person is not doing what I wanted her to do the things. I would look at the attendee and say that your finished product is going to disappoint you. It just is, because it's never going to be what you think it can be. It's never going to be what you think it ought to be. It's never going to be what you thought it was going to be when you first started it. But you know what it is going to be? It's going to be something you got done. It's going to be something that you finished. And when you see the look in someone else's eyes, when they're seeing it, that disappointment immediately disappears. And is replaced by a feeling that is indescribable with words. And that's why people paint a second painting. That's why people make a second movie. That's why people do a season 2 of a podcast.
And then you become Picasso.
Yes.
Or Beethoven.
Exactly. That's why, because of that feeling that you see when you created something and how it changed somebody else. You know, like when I dropped Shadows, somebody who I had never met in life, you know, we talked and she told me about how it helped her through a situation. And I'm just like, I don't know you like at all. And like she was suffering from something. Just like that introspection made her think about herself and like things she was going through. And I was like,
yeah. Well, and that's why we do what we do.
That's why we do it. That's why we
do
create.
it so that we can connect. Like that's the greatest thing is seeing the beauty that we think that we see in the world, and allowing someone else to kind of see that and to connect and use it in however they're going to use it.
Exactly.
That's good.
So why do I create? Similar answer to yours, Blair, like for the pain, but I create for my inner child. So
You are still pretty childish.
I am very much so.
Peggy loves that.
But it's like I constantly feel like that. I think we all should have an inner child. I think we all should, like, there's an innocence and a warmth and a purity that comes with having an inner child. And technically, you know, you're supposed to have your village, your tribe, your community is supposed to protect your inner child, specifically when you're a child. But like you become an adult, it becomes your responsibility to protect it. That innocence, that purity, that's like that drive and consistency. I think it comes back to that inner child and them wanting more for your life, that bigger purpose. So it's like I create the stuff that I wanted to see as a child, like all the things, like, so even like, you know, obviously a lot of my stuff is heavily centered on Blackness, being African and all that kind of stuff. So to me, like, I'm trying to create a reality so that my children don't have to, like, those are things that my children don't have to fight against. They can protect their inner children from completely other obstacles. But that starts with me and trying to create, like, so my inner child is the manifestation of the children that will come out of me. You know? So it's like trying to protect that. So it's like a legacy type of thing. It's like really trying to build that up. So yeah, it's for him. It's for little Enoch. You know, and the traumas that Enoch or Enoch or Enoch. We're gonna work on that one.
Yeah.
Enoch.
Please.
Yes. So when looking at creativity, there's an opposite to creativity. It's called destruction. So have you guys ever destroyed? Like, have you ever destroyed anything? Because I can definitely say that I have destroyed others' creativity with words. Like in things, because me and actually my brother Sherman were having a conversation about like when you offer up your art to somebody else and they give you like there's critiques and then there's hating.
Yes.
So critiques are like, you know, you giving insight that's, you know, personal and, you know, trying to help them move forward and build. You're like almost trying, like you're trying to aid them in building. It's like almost like I see you building a brick house. I'm coming with a brick to help you out. You know, as opposed to that's like a criticism. But then the hating is like, I see your brick. This brick isn't good, and I'm pushing that brick off. Like you need to do that again.
You're like bulldozer.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm perfect. I've definitely like, you know, have destroyed some people like and overstepped my bounds in terms of like what I think, and like that's me destroying like their art. And then like that could have, I don't know how that affected them later on in life. They might have just stopped making it before. So like I know for me personally, I've become very cognizant of how powerful my words are, and like you know, really trying to give them what they need and not what I want for them to have.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So y'all perfect though. They looking at me like, nah, I ain't never destroyed nothing.
I agree. I'm in the same train of thought as you as far as like words. I've definitely destroyed. I've definitely
because you are a Leo as Leo gets.
Yeah, I'm super Leo. Like that is something too that I am working on as well. Is like giving my opinion when it was unwarranted. So I do that a lot, and that has not been good sometimes.
I love when you give your opinion because you always comes from a good place. But I guess
it comes from a good place, but sometimes it's
that.
like you don't have to tell people right then.
Right then. Dang man, this is my premiere party. You don't have to tell me right now. you can wait 2 weeks. Let me enjoy the party.
Exactly. So I'm learning that. I'm getting better at that. But yeah, I've destroyed in that way.
I definitely learned that timing is everything when you're no matter what is going on. You need to make sure that the person is receptive for what's going on. That makes me think of your first book when you were like, so how was it? And I was like,
maybe.
And I was like. I was like, it was okay.
That sounds like me, Blair.
No,
that sounds exactly like me.
No, but see, this is the thing. So I had sent it to like 10 people, and then me and Blair, we're brand new friendship too. This is like beginning stages. We might have known each other 6 months. You know, we're not best friends at all. We're good enough friends for me to share this with you. And everybody's like, man, that book, it slapped, it hit, man. There was this and that. What you did with this character? So I'm walking up like, it's not me and Blair are just we're just friends at the time.
Okay.
I'm so confident that I'm willing to send it to my white Georgia Tech friend. Like, yeah, I know he's gonna like it. You know, I'm that confident. He was like, it's okay.
Oh.
Heartbroken, shattered into a million pieces. It was okay, but at the end of the day, it was okay. Like, it wasn't like a great book concept. There was things there, but it was just okay.
And you guys are still friends.
We are still friends.
Right, Blair?
In fact, I think we grew from that.
Yeah, because and so I would say per se that like when I said the hating versus the criticism, I think that was more so on the lines of criticism. Because your actions followed up with it. Like, so then when I did a second revision, like he literally sat down with me and we went through the book word by word. And I'm not exaggerating, word by word. Like it was literally like, well, you should use this word, and then we'll argue it over like with this word, and then I intended this to mean for this character. And a lot of that was before I was script writing. So a lot of just going through and just thinking about this stuff. Now when I'm writing scripts and I'm thinking about words and analogies and metaphors, it's like all of that training that really, like that was months of us just literally like going back and forth with it. And
good times.
And it helped build our friendship.
How do you balance like what you're talking about, critique, especially like if you're critiquing somebody who's in a similar field? Do you find yourself catching yourself like if you watch other people in your industry on Instagram, if you see what they're doing, do you find it hard to kind of dial back and not instantly critique opposed to just the observation of what you're seeing?
I honestly feel like that's a whole other podcast. Just
in itself?
It is.
That's a great
But I
question.
don't know if
So you mean like critiquing to yourself, or like so like if let's say you dropped a film,
Yes.
and I'm watching your film, like am I critiquing to myself? Or am I telling you to critique?
You're just in yourself. Is it hard for you to just not critique and just observe? It's very hard for me, especially if I'm watching something that like of somebody
and
who
that's-
does something
That's what
that
you're
I
working
do.
on, of
Yeah.
like trying to not give unsolicited.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give it,
feedback.
but is it hard to just watch? You're not going to tell this person something, but do you still find internally it's difficult to watch it and not even critique at all? Just observe.
You mean personally critique?
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that you should be doing that. That's actually exercising your muscles as a creator. You need to be seeing how that actually aligns with your viewpoint of the world.
Okay, but I guess I'm thinking of from where it's coming from. Then.
So
So like for instance, like you've been doing it a while. Like, is it hard for you to see somebody who maybe has been doing it for like?
I get exactly what you mean. It's like when because I mean people send me scripts, people send me their films and stuff like that. Like not a whole bunch of people. I don't want y'all to think I'm like this overly I guess, but I have been sent some people stuff and they're like wanting me to like critique their stuff or like give them feedback and advice and stuff like that, or just like watch it, review it and stuff like that. And I'm just like. You know, and it's like, because I mean, sometimes it's
Need
not.
some work.
Sometimes, sometimes it can be bad. Sometimes it really can be bad. Like sometimes, like me personally, I might not be able to see the potential in it, but that doesn't mean the world can. Like, who am I? Who am I to say just because it didn't resonate with me, maybe it resonates with somebody else? And so, what I usually try to do personally is like try to step outside of myself. Like so, try to take all my biases out of it. And stuff like that. Well, no, I don't. First, I'll watch it twice. The first time I'll watch it with all my biases. And then second time,
that's a good advice.
Second time I'll watch it without biases, and I try to like hear what they're saying. And then if with both of those, if I'm on the same accord, I already know what time it is. Like it's just like, yeah, man, just keep up the grind, brother. Like that's pretty much how that goes. Just
keep up the grind.
Keep working.
Keep working. Keep up the grind, man. We rooting for you in these streets.
Oh.
But yeah, seriously, it can be that like
I think what helps me is like just like especially if people are creating it already, like we talked about, it already takes enough courage to create. So if I don't like the piece, I always fall back on at least they're creating. Like, what are you doing? At least they're putting stuff out there. At least they're trying.
So
that saves me.
So with creating though, I feel like there's a greater responsibility that you have, like what you have to put out there. So let me see. I hope they don't watch the podcast. I'm not gonna say any names.
I'm not
gonna say any names. But definitely a situation just went through, and it was like so two black men, and they're trying to have it to where like they get led to the promised land.
Okay.
But who leads them to the promised land is these two white women.
Okay.
And they're super like blackity black, and so we think of the things like woke and all this kind of stuff. Like even Peggy's face. But so literally, personal Enoch was like. This is terrible for your brain. Like, first of all, you're two black men being led by two white women to the promised land. Like, what does that look like? And then they're like, oh, but there's this deeper poetic. And so then I'm like trying to listen, okay, take away personal Enoch. Take away personal Enoch. Let me see. And they're like, I'm like, but ain't nobody gonna get that deeper poetic meeting because
there's too much in front of them.
No, but if there's too much in front of them, it's like you're not being clear enough of what that deeper is. Like the story is just, it's not good.
Yeah,
it's just not good. So then it's like, okay, so when I saw both of those, I was like, yeah, this just doesn't need to happen. But they would gun set on just this is what they're gonna do, and I'm just like, all right, man, you might get canceled before you get made.
Yeah,
like you haven't even made it yet, and so I'm just like, and then my whole thing was like. Okay, if you're trying to if you're trying to preach that like okay, white women can't lead you to promise, that's your perspective, cool. But the fact of the matter is, we're talking about like, you know, y'all talk about like black women and respecting them and protecting them and all this kind of stuff, and then the chance that you have to put out art,
you want to say that
that's what you want to say. So it's like to me, I'm like that's the bigger thing that creators have. Like I said, you have to think about it. So when I'm putting out stuff, like I'm thinking about all of those things. Like I'm thinking about, okay, if I'm gonna write a black woman character who is angry and stuff like that, how am I making her angry that it doesn't contribute to the narrative that black women are just this angry, sassy, and all this kind of stuff, as opposed to making it like she's going through situations she deserves to be angry. Like because we all are angry people. We all have anger. We all get upset. So a black man, if I'm gonna make him not focus, I don't want to put the narrative that he's lazy. I want to be, why is he not focused? What has happened in his life? Like to tell that why, so then people can really get to the point where they understand circumstances and stuff like that. And then they're starting to relate to characters. And like, dang, you start seeing that, like, what? If I went through that, I'll be angry too. Yeah. If I went through that, like, I might not be focused as either. Then it's like suddenly you're relating to a character who is not you. And then it's like you start breaking down these barriers. Then you start having conversations about stuff. And then it becomes truly art, in my opinion, because you went that deeper level. But so many times creators just, they go so shallow. Mm-hmm. And they just want like that really that surface level stuff like that. And I'm just like, it's good that you create, but like it's responsibility of what you create.
That's true.
Like, cause right now we have a whole bunch of creation happening.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of creation happening. Now, how much of it is actually good for the psyche? It's good for the people and it's actually pushing the culture forward. Mm-hmm. And how much is destroying?
Right.
Because the difference, you can put something out there, but so like creating versus destroying, I think we have a lot of people destroying right now as opposed to creating.
Even when they are creating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I see your point.
That's a tough one.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. So like I said, I'm big on the think about before you put it out. Like there's projects that I haven't put out because like I've evolved past that. And sometimes it's like, yeah, you put all that time in and hopefully stuff like that, but I'll just work with those people again, or I'll do it over again. I'll do it better. Mm-hmm. Maybe be more sensitive as people, evolve. But then sometimes you just got to put it out there just because.
Just to do it.
But not just to do it because, if you don't, it's never going to be perfect.
Sure.
So, but still think about the ramifications. Have the conversation with yourself. So even when I did Shadows, and like you said, this is a woman who's fighting with all her relationship, and I had input from a lot of people and stuff like that, but then it can be seen as like, okay, this woman, all of these stuff, and now like, I can see how if somebody says a man has saved her, but in my mind, I was like, when she chose to call him, that's her choosing a new path. Yeah. But I have had, women say like, oh, this man, I was like, no, she was just an opportunity. Like really the man is the object in that story, in my opinion. Okay. And so, but I can't hear their perspective and stuff like that. So I'm ready for that conversation to talk about it. Right. So then we can see, and then like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, crazy. It's a lot. Okay, so I believe that has brought us to the next portion of the podcast. Our favorite portion, movies, television, cultural references. So thinking about creating and muses and all this kind of stuff, what is that thing that when you saw it, it just resonated with you that you wanted to elevate yourself? Elevate myself. Yeah, you saw it, you were like, whoo, like I thought, but then like now I know I need to take it up to that next level.
How long does this?
It's okay.
It
doesn't have to be on you. Like I said, Blair, all right, Blair. You got one. Anything?
I do kind of, but it's. I feel like I have movies that just inspired me to be a better person. Yeah. And it's probably a little cheesy, but A Walk to Remember.
I love A Walk to Remember.
Yeah.
Never seen
it. I love it. She was
I've heard of it.
Never seen it.
Star Wars.
No Star Wars. I've been seeing a lot of classics.
You lucky we do them.
But I'm going to keep it that way because it's a good conversation piece.
Yeah, you told me that months ago. That's why it inspired me. Like, I'm going to keep doing it. It is
I'm not going to watch the classics. I'm not.
Even Sherman. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like A Walk to Remember. There's so many actually components to that story. To me, it's actually like I'm actually forgetting like characters' names. You can help me out with this?
It's been a minute since I said you just say the protagonist.
Protagonist. So I mean, like, I feel like at the beginning of this movie, he just like lost. Like he doesn't know what he's searching for or living for, and actually, he's so lost in the beginning. When he sees beauty, he doesn't even know what it is, right? But then he actually starts spending time with this person and starts to actually understand what beauty actually means. And then he starts becoming less selfish and extending himself to actually like try to give to her and to give himself to her. And it's so powerful that even like he's changed by the time that she's gone. And he can't go back to who he was before. And his relationship with her father is even like,
I think it's the most beautiful part
yes,
of the film.
it is because like,
have you seen this film, Neisha?
But that is beautiful.
Yes.
yeah. It's funny, like the contrast between like her father, Landon. That's what it is.
Landon.
Her father is saying,
I love Neisha so much.
her father is saying Landon, and like he hates him.
He hates
He's
him.
like,
As
you're
he
a terrible
should.
influence.
As he
like,
should.
Like, stay away from my daughter. And as every Romeo Juliet romance, they do not.
They do not.
And then through the change that her father sees in Landon over that time period, he grows to love him, I think, like as a son. Right?
Yes, no, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And
because his father's not in his life, right? So,
right.
So it's really just that, yeah.
And even beyond that, they connect with the pain of losing her.
Okay, spoiler alert. Cool.
I already spoiled it. Okay, there's always going to be a spoiler on this podcast. But I think that's the point of movies. I connected with that as saying, start not living so fast and start trying to see the beauty in each person that you are with, because there is objective beauty and there's subjective beauty. There's both. And there's some beauty that only you can actually see in another person. Each of us is able to see a little bit of something different, and I think we have to use that because that is us as an individual seeing something else in someone else, and their beauty actually changes us and allows us to become more beautiful and put more out into the world. And it goes back to like making sure that you are giving love to the people that are around you, and that movie made me and is still making me a better person.
That's great.
Speaking of love, this is a great segue to mine. I thought of it.
Got you.
As you were talking. Have you guys seen, I don't think you've seen it, but have you guys seen 7 Pounds with Will Smith?
Oh my God, what do you mean you haven't seen 7 Pounds?
I thought we had this conversation.
No, I have seen every
movie.
Will Smith movie hands down multiple times.
Right.
He is my favorite actor.
Right.
Like
7 Pounds takes you through a roller coaster of emotions. I think they just beautifully told the way that somebody can deal with so many different things, from guilt to shame to anger to love to compassion to fear, just all wrapped in one movie. It made me walk away thinking about life differently, thinking about how I interact with people differently. There's just so many facets of that movie that I'm still working through some of it, because it's just so dense. Like a lot of the stuff that they covered, and that Will Smith did an amazing job at.
You know what my favorite part is in that movie?
Jellyfish.
Well, there's 2 parts. There's 3 parts.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, 3 parts.
You know.
But there's a part where like Rosario Dawson is saying that like I've used this as like
yes.
I said our first podcast. This was my example. We asked what is our criterion. Rosario Dawson from her character in 7 Pounds was one of like a reference that like somebody. But there's this moment where she was like, if you could have seen me before, because she's sick, like how beautiful I was, and he like just looks at her like, you don't even realize how beautiful I see you, like I don't need to have seen you before. This does it for me, And then there's an end scene where like he's giving her, again, spoiler alert, he's giving her his heart, literally.
I know.
Literally.
Isn't that crazy? Like
literally.
he really falls in love again.
Metaphorically,
and
He
literally
falls in love again.
gives her his heart, and then she's like sitting under. She submerges herself underneath the water, and when she does that, it's like, because when you swear, you can hear the heartbeat out on the outside. So it's like she's listening to it. It's like,
it's a poetic movie.
It's very poetic.
It's
I love
very,
it.
very poetic. Beautiful movie.
I love 7 Pounds.
Teaches a lot about life.
It does. All right. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie. It's a Disney Channel movie. I know
Motocross.
right?
Motocross.
Not Motocross. It's actually
Motocross.
Yeah, Motocross is a good film. But it's True Confessions. It's like Shia LaBeouf's like first dramatic
I
role.
like Shia LaBeouf.
I do like Shia LaBeouf. I mean, a little toxic in the present moment, but but like
We've all got our
I don't think I've seen it. I've heard of it though.
So True Confessions is this film about a sister, and she has a twin brother, and the twin brother's born with he has a mental handicap. So but she's super smart. She's like a filmmaker. Like they're like maybe in middle school, maybe high school and stuff like that. And so she ends up like making a film about her brother who has like this condition, how the world is different for him. And so why it related to me is because I remember like when I got in like 7th grade, I want to say it was like 7th, 8th grade when I watched it. When I got in 7th grade, I was a magnet kid, and we went to like completely a middle school and stuff like that. But we were 7M, and then there were 7D, 7B, 7C, 7A. So it was just like completely just different levels to like chaos and this and intelligence. I mean, it was just all this kind of stuff. And I was used to, first of all, I started off in a private school. Then I went to like, 6th grade where it was like, we were the only 6th graders. So it's like, I didn't have the experience. We were the top dog. So it's like, now I'm a 7th grader, not the top dog. There are completely different people. Everybody's smoking weed. I'm not using drugs, all this kind of stuff. I realized how sheltered I have been in my entire life. And everyone's making fun of us. Like, we are the smart kids, and it is not cool to be smart. Literally, the only people who had it worse than us were the people with special education. It was like, that was the time.
You guys were a step above this.
Exactly. In terms of being made fun of. So, like, they would, call them speds. And everyone was calling them. I just remember I used to seeing, like, how people got on them so much. They would have to come out to lunch at the old time. People, like, in the hallway, they're making fun of them. Like, it really, like, it touched my heart to like, well, like, it made me feel like I don't want nobody to feel like that. Like, because I know how it feels like they're making fun of us so much, and like then y'all just, even though they're getting it worse, it's like I'm not gonna. And obviously, because it's almost like it's like that crab in the barrel mentality. Because a lot of the magnet kids will make fun of them, because it's like they're a step below, so it's like they can elevate themselves, but it's like we shouldn't be there. Like all this negativity shouldn't exist with it. Like they have a whole condition. And so then when I saw that movie, I just related to that character because it's like, she was so, as like, she's smart and stuff like that, but then her brother, it can't, like literally can't. And she's really just trying to understand him, and then like how the world sees him and how the world just can't understand him. And like, and she just really protects him even through her frustrations the entire film. And it just inspired me to always use my mind because I have it. I can. And when there are people who can't. So there's a difference, like, when that can and can is very powerful. And it didn't necessarily, I'm not gonna say that made me want to be a filmmaker, but now I am a filmmaker. Like maybe subconsciously it did something for me, but it just made me want to take my mind and like literally for all the people who can't, I'm gonna can for you. Like, just always taking upon that thing, underdog. Just like that. Yeah, they're the underdogs. I'm always rooting for the underdogs. So yeah. True confessions, like
true.
Yeah.
True.
And literally, I watched it like, cause Disney Plus. I watched it like in the last year, and it like to me, it still held up. Like it was one of the first movies I can remember like actually crying on, like in middle school. And then like I'm watching it, like I'm like, oh, all right, you grown man now. You gotta, But it brought me back to that.
You gotta suck the tear back.
Yeah, I let him.
Cloudy the chance of the ball. He's like,
oh yeah.
No, at 29, what I've learned is when they fall, let them fall.
Oof.
So
let them fall like all the way off your face, or you can stop them.
I mean, you can stop it, but just let them fall. If they going, if they going.
I stop them right about here.
Okay. Nah, I'm a person. I'll just let him. I actually will let him go. Like
you let him go for real?
For me, it's like my badge of honor. I don't let him go.
Yeah, because it's like there's a gratification when you feel it, especially like when I don't have like when I've cried and I don't have a beer, and you can literally feel it get like down, and it's like because you feel the path, and it's like that tear. It's almost like that tear has a story now. It has a feeling. You gave it a journey.
We have an open mic night right now.
I let the air dry it,
Exactly.
Like, so you just sitting, you got sour tears just sitting on your face?
Yeah, just sour tears. Yeah. Seriously though. I do the same thing.
We cried that way.
Yeah, we cried. Like I'm not over here like, nah, I'm just like, bro,
you
just let it go.
He's doing the glory. You just the glory cry.
The girly cry. Now, like I said, if I was around like somebody I'm trying to impress, it might be like all right, cool. It's all right, cool.
That's
cool.
good. That's
it's
good.
Cool, man. Is it bright in here? Is it hot?
Allergies kicking in.
Whew.
Yeah.
So
just don't do the Dane Cook cry. You know. He did one show. I remember what it was. He was like, I tried.
Oh.
I tried.
Is he a comedian?
Yes.
He is a comedian.
I think I've seen some of his stuff.
He was like, when you go to your mom and something, and she makes you feel good. He's like, I did my best. I did my best. Then your dad get in. He's like, oh, your best? Have you ever, I grew up in the 50s. You ever served in Korea? It's like, all right, that's your best. Get it together, son.
Get it together.
So that's dope. Thank you for sharing that, guys. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to think, should we do it? what we learned about Neisha, or what Neisha learned about us?
I want to know what she learned about us.
You really want to know?
Yeah.
She and Peggy disagrees.
That's okay.
Peggy is the podcast manager.
Disagree. We do care. We do care.
Sometimes.
Okay, no. Let's listen to Peggy. Peggy just turned 27. She got all kind of stuff. You can't
This
see
is
how
her
her
birthday.
Peggy got the shoulders out.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay. If we're gonna do it that way, that's gonna be it's all of us then, right?
Okay, so we all learned about each other.
Yes.
Okay, so I learned that we cried the same.
Woo! Yes, we do.
I learned that we cried the same. What did I learn about you, Neisha? What did I learn about you? No. I was learning something about you. I mean, me and Neisha talk like a lot.
I know,
So it's
and
like,
he's like one of my best
she's
friends.
like, she's an open book. Like, that's one of the things I appreciate so much about you. Is like literally like you tell it how it is, what it is. Don't necessarily care if you know what the feeling's gonna be. You just gonna tell. I mean, like, but that's a real. So I know when I come to you, like, I get candid honesty, and like if you don't have people around you like that, then you're losing in life.
That's the true friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think the biggest thing I learned about you has nothing to do about what you said in the podcast. I think it was literally the fact, like, I looked at Blair, because you know, we just do this podcast at the spur of the moment, and I was just like, all right, you think we can shoot this podcast today? Like, Neisha just happened to be here, this wasn't planned, and she's gonna come, like, and the fact that you just like, all right, cool, we gonna shoot the podcast. All right, cool, like, I'm fine. Like, you just
been trying to get Peggy on for like the last 5 weeks.
Peggy.
But yes, on the real, like
and then she did this, like, literally you took over, like,
Yes.
you would have thought that this was planned,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
I like talking. It's easy. We're just talking.
you're like, I like the camera. I'm good.
Yeah, this is fun. You guys do a good job.
So I learned that about you, like that
Yeah.
you just will go with the flow.
I'm down.
You're
I love
down.
that.
You're yes.
I'm down.
With
I'm game.
She's down.
Down. Yeah.
Not down. I'm married.
Okay.
But I'm
all right
down.
now. All right now.
Yeah. I wouldn't even think like that, but you know, because you know, John is an
I'm not
amazing man.
that I'm down for something.
Oh, I had fun though. This is a lot of fun. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Okay,
I had
good.
a lot of fun.
I think it's like one of the biggest like things that we try to do on this podcast is just actually have fun with each other.
Mhm.
And we hope that some of that fun gets out past the cameras.
Yeah.
Okay, what I learned about you. You are really brave. I feel like.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
I feel like so part of you kind of connect a little bit with what I said when I was saying like having trouble finishing things.
Mhm.
And I think the fact that like I think seeing that and then like making steps to try to go beyond that and actually like finish something,
Mm.
there's a lot of bravery there. And I think I see you finishing a lot of things.
Yes, I receive it. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Thank you, Blair.
You're welcome.
I'm going to have follow through this year.
Good.
2021, one of my other trades is going to be follow through.
Cool.
It's on camera,
Me and
so
you
that
both.
means it's
All right.
etched in
It's
stone.
on camera. The words are in the atmosphere now.
Mm-hmm.
It's real.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What did I learn about you guys? Other than the fact that you guys just got sour tears just sitting.
Just saying.
You guys let the tears fall, which I think is very impressive for two men to say that out loud. So, kudos to that. Blair, like I mentioned earlier, you're super intellectual, but I didn't realize how deep you were. Like you're super deep, which I think is awesome. I was really surprised by that
Cool.
to see how much self work you've done and how much self work you're willing to do.
Yeah, still going through that.
So yeah, I was just like really surprised and impressed by that. So I thought that was cool.
Thank you.
Let's see, Enoch Kate.
Oh boy.
What did I learn about you? I learned that you are, what is the word I'm looking for? Like empowering. I just had a glimpse of like when you were
That's true.
talking to the what did you call it, attendee or the painter? What did you call him?
Oh,
Attendee.
it's his attendee because
Yeah, attendee. When you had that little moment with the attendee, the little one-on-one you had, it was like, there was like a glimpse of like a slither of like, oh wow, he's very like you need to be on a platform to speak in front of more than just that one person. And so I got to see a glimpse of the speaker in you. So I look forward to you exercising that gift more this year because it's definitely there. So, yeah.
Let him fall. Just let him fall. Let him fall. Look at sour tears.
Let him fall.
I appreciate that, Neisha. Definitely appreciate that. This was a great episode.
Yeah,
great.
I really enjoyed this episode.
I did too.
You know, every time we start, I'm like, I don't know, this might not be that great. And then we get to the end of it, and we're like mid to end, and I'm like, I like this clip. This is good.
This is good. I mean, this is friendship. I mean, at the end of the day, like, have you ever really had a bad conversation? It
like the worst conversation we had has been like good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's our friendship. It's our friendship. I mean, it's like I've never been like, oh, I gotta hang out with Blair today. Like that's never been the case. Like, oh, I'm gonna see Blair today. Oh crap. I gotta wake him at the bed. Like that. It's never been there. So like it never surprises me. I'm just always like, it's gonna be what's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yes. So for everyone out there, hope you all enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So like, rate, share, comment. Let us know. What's your muse? What's your inspiration? Have you ever been inspired? Are you having trouble with taking your inspiration and actually going out and creating? Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation about every single thing. And Peggy's killing me behind the camera.
Peggy's cracking up back there.
Killing me.
Who knows why?
You sound like a pharmaceutical commercial.
Apparently that sounds like
What's your muse?
Disregard Peggy.
Peggy.
Anyways,
For the audience.
we appreciate you tuning in with us, reaching the end, and I really hope that you got something out of this, that you use it to inspire you to finish what you have started, but you kind of let go of a little bit. Let's get back to it. Let's put you into the world and make it a better place.
So as always, I'm Enoch.
I'm Neisha.
I'm Blair.
I'm Megan.